Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our class today. Hello, hello. If you are here, let us know in the comments. We are live on Facebook and YouTube, and we will be going live here on Instagram in a moment. So let me see here. Gustavo is here from Salamanca, Mexico. Hello, nice to see you. Hello to my friends on Instagram as well. We are back with our second class of the day. We were here earlier with teacher Chris, and now we have our second class that we have every Monday here on our different social media pages with Open English. So welcome everyone. We've got Maya from Colombia. Hello. On Instagram. Which one of my friends are here connected? Cuéntame aquí en los comentarios. Let me know here in the comments, because before we begin, I have a couple of quick announcements. And of course, if you're just connecting to our class now, this is a class all about abbreviations and acronyms in English. This is super important, especially for your job. If you have a job that you have to write or speak in English, hopefully this will be a very useful class for you. So Eric Martinez, hello. All right, we've got Ricardo here from Jopal. Nice to see you here again. Maria, hello, hello to you on LinkedIn. Everton from Brazil. Nice to see you. Thank you for joining us on LinkedIn. All right, lots of people. Oh, let me see. Monica, hello. Jocasta, hello. Chicago. That is very close to me. So I guess if you're just connecting, if you've never connected to a class before, my name is Maritza and I am from the United States. So it's so great to see all of you here. Kari Bajejos, hello, nice to see you. Thank you for joining. Elle on LinkedIn, hello. Lots of friends here today. So remember, today's class, we will do all in English, 100% English, as we have friends here from Brazil. Unfortunately, I don't speak Portuguese yet, but we will have our 100% English class today to talk about abbreviations and acronyms. So if you don't know what those are, don't worry, we will talk about them. But remember, you can participate here in the comments in a class. If you have any questions, let me know as well. And remember, for most of my friends here in Latin America, we are in the final hours of mitad de año, mitad de precio, so 50% off of your course in Open English. So if you need more information about Open English, about the prices, promotions, how you can sign up, send the word profe here in the comments. Profe here in the comments. Oh, got crazy hair today. Profe here in the comments for more information and to take advantage of our last day of 50% off of our English course. Okay, let me see. And also, if you're here and you don't really know your English level, your English you think is kind of good, or you don't know exactly what level you have, you can take a free leveling test with Open English. All you have to do is send the word test here in the comments, TEST in the comments for more information about how you can take a free leveling test to discover your level of English. So Mitzi, hello, nice to see you guys here. So let's get into it. Let's get started. Celine, just in time. Hello to you in Argentina. So let's talk about abbreviations and acronyms. Abbreviations and acronyms. So number one, abbreviations. My first question for you guys is, do you know the difference between an abbreviation and an acronym in English? These are two different terms we use for different words in English. Let me know here in the comments. What's an abbreviation and what is an acronym? All right. So if you have any guesses, let me know here. Alvaro, hello, just in time to talk to or to learn all about acronyms and abbreviations here. All right, so let me know here. What's the difference between an abbreviation and an acronym? It's okay if you don't know. We're all here to learn. All right, Maria Adelaida, hello, nice to see you. Okay, so an abbreviation is something we use in English when we cut a word. When we cut a word down, we call that an abbreviation. Abbreviation. So I've got some examples here. 5 new abbreviations for you that you can use in your job or you could use in your everyday life. These are shortened words that you'll more commonly find in your job in the form of emails, or maybe you message over Teams or Slack. These are different kind of shortened words that we use in English. So number 1, I think everyone has heard of this abbreviation. I think it's similar in Spanish, and that is app. App. So we can use this to talk about an application, for example, on our phone, an app. Did you download that app, or have you downloaded the Open English app, for example? App. Or we could also use this to describe a job application. This would be a little more informal to say job application. We would say, hey, did you finish that app for that job you were looking at? So app is our first abbreviation. Remember, in English, these are shortened words. So the full word is application, but we are going to shorten it to app. Just makes things a little quicker. As always in English, we are always looking for the fastest way to say things. So here is one. Okay, Lenita, excellent example. I love the Open English app. Awesome job. All right, our second one. I use this abbreviation a lot, and that is writing Approx period. Approx period. That is when I want to say approximately. So one thing I want to note is that these shortened abbreviations we can use in our job. They are really informal. So if you have to write a report or something, I would not write approx dot or period. But if you're talking to a coworker and you want to say like more or less, approximately, without writing out the whole word, you can write Approx period to say approximately. So here I have an example in the picture about how you can use this in a sentence. It's approximately 7 miles long. You can write this out. We don't normally say approx. It's usually more in written form. All right. Leo Lopez, hello. Nice to see you. Greetings to you in Atlanta. So remember, this is more of a writing tip if you want to shorten this word. All right. Number three, DEPT. This looks like depth. It's not a word. It's actually a shortened word. We are shortening the word department. So if I was writing to a friend, I could say she works in another DEPT at the company. At the CO period means company. So she works in another department. But we always can change these and make these shorter. Make these shorter in a sentence. So department. All right. And the next one. Okay, let me see. What is the difference between approximately and approach? So approximately is when you want to say something is around this number, more or less this number. Approach is to get near something or someone. So they're pretty different words. So one is to get physically close to someone, to approach someone. Approximately is to say more or less it's this number. Okay, great questions. If you guys have questions, send them here in the comments. All right, so our next abbreviation, QTY period. QTY period. If you work in sales, for example, or I'm trying to think what other fields, maybe even the medical field, you might see this abbreviation. QTY, which stands for quantity. All right, so quantity, we can write QTY dot or period. So our example sentence would be, our last quantity check said there are 2 left. So quantity, we're talking about the number of things, the number of something, quantity. And we can write it with an abbreviation with QTY, period. All right, let me see. Any other questions or comments here? Don't forget you can participate here in the comments with any questions you have. And our last abbreviation for business would be DOC, DOC, D-O-C, which we can use to say document, for example. So I would say, did you get that doc I sent? I would maybe write that to my boss or to my coworker. Did you get that doc? And when I say doc, I'm not talking about a doctor, although you could also use this to talk about a doctor. It's very informal, but it's more used to describe or talk about a document in English. So remember, those abbreviations are when we shorten a word. So let's talk about acronyms now. So acronyms. I'm going to share with you some business acronyms that you can use as well. Okay, yes, exactly, Leo. So doc files would be like a Word document, a Microsoft Word document. So business acronyms are also things we usually use when we write. We don't really say these acronyms speaking, but we write them. So number one, HQ. HQ stands for headquarters. So this is where the main central office or main central building, the main central location of a company is. So we could say in an email, our HQ are in Austin, Texas, or our HQ is are in New York, for example. So HQ stands for headquarters, the main office. All right, and these are more so for business. I will share some that you could use in a casual conversation with friends next. Okay, let me see here. Let me see. Any other questions? I don't think I missed any. All right, so our next one is YTD, year to date. So we're talking about everything, all the data we have until today. So from the beginning of the year until today's date, we say year to date. So in a report, you might see in your work people saying YTD. We are up 6% in sales. So starting from the beginning of the year until today, we can describe this time period as YTD. Okay, Jacqueline, what's acronym in Spanish? I honestly don't know the word. Maybe someone else does, but I do know it in English. Acronym is when we have different letters that the first letter of each word spells out our acronym. Okay, Myra, can you please repeat the pronunciation? QTY. Okay, so QTY stands for quantity. All right. Our next acronym here is EOD. EOD. So we would use this to say end of day. End of day. So this is very common when we talk about deadlines, when we talk about a time limit we have for something. So for example, I would say to a coworker, I need the contract by EOD. So if someone says, I need this by EOD, it's by the end of today, or it could be EOD on Tuesday, for example, by the end of the day on Tuesday. So you want to pay attention to this one, EOD, because that means they're probably talking about a time limit or a deadline. All right. And we've got M, lowercase o, capital M, M-O-M. We're not trying to say mom here. This is not an acronym for mom or trying to talk about moms, but rather month over month. So when we're comparing months, we use this acronym, M-O-M, a month over month. So M-O-M, month over month, we saw a decrease of 10%. we saw a decrease of 10% month over month. All right. So let me know if you have any questions here in the comments. All right. Lacey wants to learn English. Leo, well, Open English, we have a whole interactive platform available for you and your lovely wife. And we have it at 50% off right now. So remember, if you need more information about Open English, send the word PROFE, P-R-O-F-E, PROFE, for more information. Okay, Anna Ferrer, can we say, for example, I worked, done, EOD? I would say, Anna, by the EOD, I will have finished my work, for example. So this is usually to refer to a specific time period that we need to get something done. Okay. And next one, this is one of my favorite acronyms, I think everyone probably likes this acronym. OOO, capital OOO. This means out of office. We are on vacation. We are not working. We are out of the office. So if you can put this up on your calendar, hopefully that's a good thing. Out of office. So again, these are more acronyms that we use for writing or typing. So I'll be OOO on Tuesday. I wouldn't say to my coworker, hey, Leo, I'm going to be OOO on Tuesday. But I would write, hey, Leo, I will be OOO on Tuesday. And our last business acronyms, FT and PT. FT and PT. So before I explain this one, my question for you guys is, what does this acronym mean in English? PTO. When I write PTO, what do I mean by this? What do I mean when I use this acronym PTO? Send your comments here. Send your comments while I explain FT and PT. What does PTO mean? It's another good one, another important one. So FT or PT means full-time or part-time. Full-time or part-time. For example, they are looking for PT employees. They are looking for part-time employees. So this would be like medio tiempo. Part-time, full-time, tiempo completo. So FT and PT. All right, Dennis says, very interesting. Dennis, I hope this is helpful. Sometimes I even see abbreviations or acronyms where I don't know what it means. So hopefully this will be helpful for you in your job. All right, let me see. Carlos, ¿cuánto vale el curso? Remember, for more information about prices for your country and promotions, send the word PROFE, P-R-O-F-E, in the comments so we can send you more information. All right, so what does PTO mean? I saw someone said, please turn over, I think. Any other guesses? What does PTO mean? Yes, all right, very good, Carl. Carl H. Des 91, excellent. Okay, we've got one person who's guessed it correctly. PTO in English. All right, yes, it means your paid days on vacation. So you guys are correct. PTO is paid time off. So instead of saying, how many vacation days do you have in English? We can say, how many days of PTO do you have? PTO do you have? How many days of PTO do you have? Okay, instead of saying vacation, a more business acronym would be like paid time off. Paid time off. All right, Martha Lily says, I was unaware of this information. Thank you. Okay, I'm glad to hear that. These are super important, especially PTO. A lot of businesses, for example, in LinkedIn, when they put up their offers online, a job description, they'll say unlimited PTO. What's that? That means you have unlimited vacation days for example. So that's an important one to know so you can negotiate some PTO, some paid time off. Okay, so moving on to some interpersonal acronyms. So these are different acronyms that you can use when you're talking to friends or coworkers. They're more kind of acronyms that you can use when you're texting in everyday situations. So our first one is ASAP. ASAP. So in this one, unlike the previous acronyms, we can actually say this one and we can write it. So if you say to someone, hey, can I get that report ASAP? ASAP means as soon as possible. You can say, can you get that report to me ASAP? Or you can say ASAP. ASAP or ASAP. Both are correct, and you can say them and write them. And number 2, ETA. This one we only spell out using ETA. We don't say ETA, for example. We would just say ETA. And that's to say, what is your estimated time of arrival? What time do you think you will get somewhere? So what's your ETA to get to the office? What time will you be getting to the office? What's your estimated time of arrival? All right. And remember, we can say this as well. We can say this in a conversation. What's your ETA? All right. Let me see. Any other questions here? Remember, you can send your questions here to me, and I will try my best to answer them. All right. So number 3, FYI, for your information. For your information. Again, I can say this or I can write it. I could say, hey, FYI, I sent the email yesterday. Or I could write, FYI, I sent the email yesterday. For your information. Para que tú sepas. For your information. All right. Number 4, BTW. BTW. We use this to say, by the way. By the way. So, BTW, did you see her email? By the way, did you see her email? That's another example we could use to use BTW. So, by the way, let me see here. Looking at your comments. No comments. All right. So, keep moving on. We've got lots of acronyms and lots of abbreviations here. Let me know over because. This is acronyms. It's cuz or not. Kareab, I'm not sure if I understand your question. If you can shorten because to cuz. But let me know. Okay. Let me see. That's a good question. Estas abreviaciones solo se usan en redacción de textos o también en conversaciones abiertas. We can use these on the screen, that are on the screen, en conversaciones y también como escrito en un texto. So not all abbreviations or acronyms we can say, but all acronyms and abbreviations we can write. It's more common to see these written than spoken. Okay. Let me see. Yes, Ana Ferrer, BTW in Spanish is por cierto. Cariabe, yes, because is cuz. Yes, that would be like a shortened version of saying because. Let me see. So where do we leave off? So TBH, to be honest, to be honest. This is an abbreviation to say like, to be honest, to give my opinion. We would say TBH, he didn't like the proposal. To be honest, he didn't like the proposal. TBH. Okay, let me see here. Let me see. Ana Celia, ¿cada qué tiempo ofrecen esas clases? We are here every day at 11 a.m. Colombia time. But we also have classes in our platform that are available 24/7. 24/7. Okay, let me see here. All right. And our last acronym, BRB. BRB. Super important. I use this in meetings, and that's to say, be right back. Ya vuelvo. Be right back. For example, here, I could say to you guys, I could type BRB. I've got to go to the bathroom, or BRB, I have to let my dog out. So if you want to say in a meeting, ya vuelvo, just write BRB. All right, guys. So another question for you guys before we move on to some practice. What does this abbreviation mean in English? What does this abbreviation mean in English? TBD. TBD. Let me know here in the comments. TBD. This one is also a really common one I use a lot. TBD. Does anyone know what this one means? Okay, Batistina says to be difficult. That's a good guess. That's a good guess. What does TBD mean? TBD. All right. Checking out your comments. TBD. What does this mean? I'm going to get a little drink of water too. BRB, I'm going to drink some water. Okay, TBD in English stands for to be determined. To be determined. So for example, if you have to create a plan and you're not sure about a date or a deadline, you haven't established it, you haven't, it's not completely decided, or it's not 100% sure, you can say TBD. So if I'm listing the stages of a project, I could say, we will have the first copy ready June 4th. We will have the second copy ready, and then I could say TBD if the date has not been established. If we're not totally sure about something, we can say TBD, to be determined. Es como pendiente de confirmar. Okay. All right, guys. So let me know here in the comments. Tell me here in the comments. Have you learned any new abbreviations or acronyms today? Let me know in the comments. Are any of these abbreviations or acronyms new for you? Tell me here in the comments. Well, we move on to a little practice looking at abbreviations and acronyms. Abbreviations and acronyms. But tell me if you've learned anything new so far in class. All right, so correct or incorrect? Correct or incorrect? Oh, let me see. Dennis says, you have a great accent. How long did it take you to have that excellent accent? Dennis, I'm actually a native English speaker. So I'm lucky enough that I grew up like this. It's my Spanish accent that needs a little work, perhaps. All right. So correct or incorrect? Tell me here in the comments. Oh, Bella says, I only knew ASAP, ASAP. All right, that's okay. Hopefully, Bella, you took a lot of notes for some new acronyms here. So correct or incorrect? I have 3 sentences here. I want you guys to tell me if the sentence is correct or if it is incorrect. So correct or incorrect? So number 1, YTD means year to day. YTD means year to day. Okay, is this true or is this false? True or false? YTD means year to day. Okay, James Rod 2021 says true. All right, Lenita says this one is true. 717A says three thumbs up. All right, so we've got a lot of people saying thumbs up. Kariave says thumbs down. All right, Kariave, if this is incorrect, how would we correct it? Celine says this is false. Delvis Cruz says this is true. Melissa Torres says this is true. Margarita says this is false. Okay. ¿Podría explicar el tema de passive voice, por favor? Yes, we recently did a class with passive voice. Remember, all of our classes are recorded and on YouTube. So if you go to our YouTube channel, you can type in passive voice, and there should be at least 2, maybe even 3 classes about passive voice if you want to learn about that today. So number 1 is actually false. This one is a little tricky. Number 1 is false. So YTD means year to date. date, D-A-T-E. It sounds very similar to day, but we actually use it to say year to date, date. All right. And number 2, abbreviations and acronyms are very informal. Is this true or is this false? Abbreviations and acronyms are very informal. Let me know here in the comments. All right. Jimmy, I think maybe you're saying true for number 1 or for number 2. I'm not sure. So let me know in the comments. What do you guys think? Sentence number 2. Is this true? Is this correct or is this incorrect? All right, Charlie, hello. Just in time to catch the kind of end of our class practicing, but don't worry. We will be uploading this class to our social media page after. Okay, Gustavo says this is true. Bella says true. Batistina says true. Anna says it's true. And yes, this one is true. So they're technically very informal. And I know a lot of people say, if it's informal English, you should never use it. It really depends, though, on the context. Abbreviations are something I use in my work and with my boss or my coworkers. They are technically informal, but it's important to be able to recognize them and understand when to use them. So number 2 is true, but it's not necessarily a bad thing. Informal English isn't always bad because that's kind of how we speak a lot or write a lot of the time. Okay, great job, everyone. And number 3, THX and PLS are abbreviations for thank you and please. Okay, is this correct? Is this true or incorrect? False. Number 3, THX is an abbreviation for thank you or thanks, and PLS is an abbreviation for please. Let me know here. Checking out your comments here on Instagram. Lenita, you got to get that keyboard checked. Okay. Yeah, poor keyboard, Lena. I feel bad. All right. Gustavo says this is true. Caro says this number 3 is true. All right. And you are correct. Number 3 is true. So THX is something we can use to say thanks, or PLS is to say please. Sometimes people write PLZ as well to say please. So number 3 is true. It is true. All right, guys. Well, that concludes our class today. Thank you so much for joining, everyone. Hope you guys learned a lot of new acronyms and abbreviations today. And don't forget, if you want to take more live classes with native English speaking teachers like myself, you can sign up to Open English with 50% off still. We're in our final hours. So all you have to do is send the word PROFE, PROFE, here in the comments for more information and to take advantage of that deal. And we also have our free English leveling test, that you can take by sending the word test, T-E-S-T, here in the comments. And we will be back here with another live class tomorrow at 11 a.m. So don't forget to activate your notifications. So turn on those notifications on your social media so you don't miss any of these classes. So your phone tells you when we are live here, but we will be back here 11 a.m. Colombia time, 9 a.m. Mexico time, 1 p.m. Argentina time, and that's all I remember for the time zones. But I hope to see you guys all back here soon, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful evening. All right, everyone, take care.